All right, City versus Bayern preview. A little bit different this time. We got a guest on the channel. We're gonna have a chat over the game, see what's what. But yeah, first guest on the channel, it's Luke. On Twitter, if you know him, it's Luke MCFC. Yeah, straight into it now because it'll probably be a long one. But yeah, guest on for the biggest game of the season. Yeah, Luke MCFC. Let's get into the preview. All right, just before we get into this. We've already tried doing this. We already recorded recorded a bit of this already, so but it just didn't record. So we've already had a chat about a good bit of it, but just didn't record. So there's a bit of a throwback or comments to a previous recording. That's what it is. I just forgot to record it, but yeah, nightmare. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get into the chat now. So welcome to the channel, Luke. You're the first guy on here. We're going to get straight into it. Bayern versus City. What was your reaction to the draw when it first came out, and has your opinion changed since, considering their form or whatnot?
Yeah, well, so as I've already told you about some of the video, at the time of the draw, and it still is, I think it's probably the toughest tie having Bayern away with the second leg. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the draw I wanted, put it that way.
Yeah.
I think when you look at this year, it's quite a weak year in terms of who's left in the quarterfinals. So I was hoping we get nice and maybe get a
The other side of
AC
the draw.
Milan. Yeah, I thought if you swapped what Napoli got and put us in that position, I think I'd have been a much happier bunny. But I still think we're good enough to beat Bayern and Real Madrid and Chelsea and anyone. I still think we're the best team in the world. So it's a weird one. I'm confident, but I would be a lot more confident if we weren't playing Bayern and if we were playing Inter Milan or something like that. So it's a mixed bag. I think you can't really complain, can we? Because, we had Leipzig in the last round, and I know we won our group and we won our league to get an easy draw, but we've had easy draws, haven't we, this year? And I think a tough game to get us in our groove ahead of the big games. I'm not complaining too much.
I feel like when we get easier teams, we're not as good. Say like Lyon, Monaco, Spurs. Like when we played PSG and Real Madrid, we were just
100%. Yeah, yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think the problem is when we get lesser teams. I don't swear this time. when we get lesser teams, well, I try not to waffle about Dortmund as well. But when we get lesser teams, we tend to overlook them a bit. And I feel like with Chelsea, with Spurs, with Lyon. Not with Monaco as much, because I think we were just shit then.
Yeah.
But with the lesser teams, you kind of just overlook them and think we've already gone through. And then it ends up they go one goal up, and then it's like, oh shit, now we've got to score 3 goals because they score another, and it's like away goals. And it gets really complicated. I think there's the thing with Liverpool as well, back in 2018. So pretty much all the times we've gone out, other than last year, because we overlooked teams. And last year was just us falling apart. So yeah, I think when we played Real Madrid a few years ago, before COVID, I remember being very confident because we had a good team. I was thinking, all right, we'll be up for this. And then in the quarterfinals, we had Lyon and just completely overlooked them. We were already thinking about Bayern in the semis and we lost. And, so in terms of that respect, I think it's good, yeah. And I think, yeah, we haven't played Bayern for a while, and they have that fear factor about them, don't they, Bayern? They're a massive club. They're sort of respected by everyone, and just Germans in general are quite serious when it comes to football. So I think there'll be no issue of us overlooking them this time. We know they're serious.
Just going on about Napoli. Do you think their 4-0 loss to Milan will have an impact on the tie? Because I would have expected them to go through first.
No, I still think Napoli will go through. Obviously, like for confidence-wise, Milan now know that they can beat them. But I think Napoli is still a better team. And in their head, they'll be thinking, all right, they embarrassed us. We've got to get that back, and we've got to smash them. And I think when they're at their best, they will beat Milan, and they'll be up for that tie. Whereas in the league, it's over already, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think they win the league. Although I've been saying this, and I'm getting a lot of stick for it. I think Benfica go through to the final ahead of Napoli. I really do. So you look at Benfica this year. Yeah, I think they've lost like 1 game all season.
Benfica
they were
in
a group with, but they were in a group with Bayern and Barca when they qualified. I think they had Club Brugge a bit shit in the round of 16, but still in their league they're absolutely dominating, and I think people are just forgetting about them.
Were Inter Milan in their group as well? Because if
that was last year, wasn't it?
Are you sure? Because I thought Inter Milan played Barcelona this year.
No, I think that was last year. They'd Barca, Bayern, and Benfica, and then this year's. Oh, was it this year as well?
No, because I remember. No, I'm pretty sure Inter Milan. Where does Edin Dzeko? Edin Dzeko plays with Inter, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Oh no, there was again. Yeah, it was again
Against Barcelona.
Yeah, they didn't have Bayern in their group. You're right. Because they Benfica had PSG in their group this year. That's who they had. And they came top of their group with PSG because I remember they scored like 3 goals. It was last year Benfica Barca went through.
You should.
But this
PSG winner. I think did Inter Milan and Benfica not qualify?
no. So Benfica weren't in that group this year. It was last year they were in it. I got it wrong.
Oh, right.
They were in PSG's group this year because if you remember, they drew to PSG twice, and PSG were like 5 goals ahead in goal difference.
Yeah.
And Benfica scored like 4 right at the end against some random farmers. I think it was that Israeli team, whatever. And it was like there, and then they ended up topping the group on goal difference. They scored all these late goals. But yeah, I think not really related to City v Bayern. Although I do think
getting back to that now.
I do think the winner. Although I will say, I do think the winner of this tie will go to the final and win. But anyway, that's bold statement.
Bayern Munich replaced Nagelsmann recently with Thomas Tuchel. What are you making of that whole situation? And are you more or less confident, actually?
It's a weird one. I think, first and foremost, Thomas Tuchel is absolutely a million light years better than Nagelsmann. So from that aspect, Bayern are better. However, when you change your manager that close, and it's so close to a big tie, and they had the Dortmund game as well, so that was a big game. When you change your manager that soon, it's hard to adjust, and it's a shock to the system, and all the players will be a bit confused, and it does set a bad mood around camp. But they went out and smoked Dortmund, so they're still a top team. They'll probably be even better in the long run. So, in regards to our tie, I think it's going to be tougher because Tuchel's got the experience in Europe, whereas Nagelsmann's experience is losing. So, I think that regard will be tougher. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's hard. You don't really know yet because you've only seen a couple games from Tuchel. But I think he's a much better manager. So surely in the long run, they'll be better.
Are you taking much from their loss to Freiburg in the cup recently?
Not really. No, I think if we had lost to Southampton in the cup like we did in the start of the season, it's not a good result, is it? But it's a one-off game. They got a last-minute winner. It's sort of they're not going to be happy about it, but it's not. It doesn't mean they're a shit team suddenly. One game like that, they're still on a decent run. They're top of the league now, so I'm not thinking they're any worse because of it. But they're certainly. It's not going to be a good result for them, is it? Now,
also for a Champions League game, I'm assuming we're expecting them to step up for a Champions League game anyway compared to a cup game versus Freiburg.
That's the thing. Do they even give a fuck about the German Cup? Because it feels like with a German Cup, it's such an irrelevant trophy to them. Like the Bundesliga, they feel like obviously they just win it by default most years. And the Champions League's everything. I feel like they don't even care about the German Cup like that. Whereas the Champions League, they're going to be right up for it. Because they won it a couple of years ago. They won it in 2013 as well. But
now Gvardiol's getting his hands on it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the last one was during COVID, wasn't it? And everyone seems to forget about COVID. So for some of those players, they feel like they haven't won a proper Champions League, I imagine. They'll want to win it, even though they have won one. I feel like the way, the circumstances they won it is the same for Chelsea. It kind of felt like it didn't happen. So I feel like a lot of those players, they haven't had that moment.
Oh, shit, well, for the fans anyway.
Yeah. My phone just said 10%. I thought it said I was dying. It's not. So I still got 10%. Still got life in me. I would have 20% if someone didn't forget to record the first one.
Right, that's amazing, man. We got your Dortmund hate out of the way, so
yeah. Oh, I'm a little Harry Kane rant.
Yeah.
Talking of Harry Kane, Eric Choupo-Moting, the far superior player, Bayern's top scorer of the season, only has 17 goals.
I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, which if you had recorded, you would have known you got it spot on. Yeah, I think that's something I mentioned in the last one. I think it's quite important to touch on. With Haaland, we have that goal threat. We know we can rely on to get goals. Their top scorer's only got 17 goals in all competitions, so they haven't got like one player who, in the moment, they can rely on. But I feel like instead they've got lots of different players, which so I think in all competitions we both scored the similar amount of goals and the same in the Champions League. So it's a weird one. I feel like I'd rather have it the way we have it though, personally, because we know we can rely on Haaland.
I feel like this guy here, Kingsley Coman, he loves himself a crucial Champions League goal, doesn't he?
Now that is someone that I seem to like and no one else seems to like as much as me as well.
Yeah, that's because he's won a league every season.
Yeah, he's also like, I know I said about the Champions League doesn't really count. It does count, but he did score a winner in the Champions League final. Yeah. When you think about it, how many players have scored the only goal in the Champions League final? It's quite a big goal. Yeah, no, he's a good player and he's He stepped up when it mattered against PSG.
Yeah.
Did he do it? Who was the other one? There was a big game he turned up and scored in. I'm trying to think of the game. Was it against PSG in the round of 16 as well?
It was the PSG. They just knocked them out there. So yeah, he scored
Yeah,
against them that time.
Yeah, because I was thinking of the final, the other goal. And also, another thing I said in the other video, which I think is quite important, is Kimmich being on a yellow. Because Grealish, he wins a lot of fouls. He's been good recently. As much abuse I've given him over the year. In fact, I'd argue that my constructive criticism has made him the player he is today. He wins a lot of fouls. So basically, if we win the Champions League, it's because of me. But he wins a lot of fouls. And Kimmich is already
have to get you on the pitch like Solvay, innit?
Oh, exactly. Although it's in fucking Turkey, though. I'm not going to Turkey. I don't need to go to France. My hairline's sick. I don't need to go to Turkey. But yeah, so Grealish, he wins a lot of fouls. You'll run at Kimmich. Kimmich will foul him, get a yellow card, miss the second leg. That's what I'm hoping. Then they'll have to play that Gravenberg. So
true, yeah. But Kimmich is a ridiculous player for them.
Oh, so, yeah, he is. I feel like though he's sort of gone under the radar a bit. A couple of years ago, everyone was talking about him being like the best midfielder in the world, and now it's like everyone's just forgot that. I don't know if because he was younger back then, and everyone seems to love young players, and
he came through as this heir to Philip Lahm sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's this weird thing in football where everyone's constantly looking for like the next big thing instead of just focusing on like who's good now.
The next young player, which you hate.
Yeah, but it's like it's like with Bellingham now.
I was going to say.
Thinking, yeah, it's like in 10 years, it's like, he's 19. Oh my God, he's only 19. In 10 years, he'll be 29 and he'll be this good. It's like, well, yeah, but when you rather sign someone who's 29 and already that good, you know what I mean? Like Modric is available at 37 and he's 20 times a player. I'm not saying we'll get Modric. I think looks like he's going to retire at Madrid. But anyway, that's another subject.
So you said about you're not too bothered about the Freiburg game. This is being done before the Southampton game. If we drop points to Southampton, does that have any effect on how you see the game going?
Not really, no. Unless like someone gets injured or something like that, or unless something big happens, like maybe like Haaland misses a sitter and has a fight with Grealish and some shit like that. But nothing out of the ordinary.
I feel like it depends on how Southampton play as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Southampton play park the bus, getting 0-0. Like that's got nothing to do with Bayern, has it?
That's the way
Bayern aren't going to play like that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, because Bayern just won't play the same. Well, I highly doubt they'll play the same way as Southampton. So even if we do draw or somehow lose to Southampton, I feel like it has no bearing on how we'll perform against Bayern, to be fair.
No, I think you'll just put us in a shit mood for a couple of days, and then by the time Bayern comes around, we'll be all right, I think.
Right, so we're going to talk about City now. City's form, 7 wins recently, 7 wins in a row. 2 conceded, 27 scored. It's a big difference to how we were just after the World Cup. What are you making of our form recently?
Well, I think it's just what happens when the big games come around, the big teams turn up, and we're just in that kind of form now. I call it title race City, because when the title race comes along and every game starts to matter, you look from now to the end of the season, if we're going to win the league, we need to win probably every game. Maybe we can drop like 2 points if we're lucky, but we're probably going to have to win every game. So when it comes to this part of the season, we're just locked in and we just win. And that's the reason why we're better now than we were at the start of the season. It's usually like that for us, I find. So, yeah, it's nothing. I don't think it's anything crazy. You look at us and Bayern, we've both got very similar records, albeit we played better teams. But our records across the season are very similar. So it's a weird one, because part of me is saying that we should go and beat them easily at home because our record's so good at the Etihad. Then their record's so good at the Allianz and their record this season's so good that they should beat us. So it's such a 50-50 game and tie in general that the teams match up very well against each other, I think. In terms
we both have to make our home advantages count. Like even though it's a first leg, I feel like we still should be trying to be on the front foot as much as possible.
Of like when it's the same when PSG plays. Like these are the two teams from their leagues which like dominate the league, and they're like the face of the league, and they're playing each other. It's almost like a clash of two titans facing each other. That's the way I see it. And yeah, as I said, it's not the nicest draw we could have got, but I still think we're probably the best team in the world and could take anyone. But we see the Champions League.
Exact same.
Yeah, it's a cup competition though, and there's one decision, one Edison kicking the ball in his own net, or one ref giving a Llorente handball as a legit goal, and you're out the cup. So Yeah.
On City's form, I do feel it's no coincidence that we've turned up so much ever since this man has came back, Ruben Diaz.
Oh
Ever,
yeah, he's
ever since he's came back from injury, I think he went like 9 games in a row without conceding or something like that. But just his leadership at the back and just what he brings to the team is just next level.
Yeah, I think with defenders, it's so hard to rate them because with attackers, you can just go, okay, he scores a lot of goals. It's
Yeah,
very simple. But with defenders, because it's like a collective unit, you can't really use goals conceded and clean sheets as such because it's like, okay, well, what if they concede a goal if it wasn't his fault? And with tackles, it's like, well, why is he making tackles? Is he giving the ball away? That kind of stuff. So it is very hard to rate defenders and judge defenders. But I think what we all know is Stones and Diaz are just on another level to pretty much any other defender in the league. There's a couple like good ones, don't get me wrong, but they're just they're at the pinnacle of football now in terms of just the level they've been at for the last 2 years defensively. I think you could make a case that they're both in the top 10 centre backs in the world for sure. They're just so good. And I think as well with Akanji, we touched on this in the last recording. Someone got. But it seems to be like he's one of Pep's favourites, and he's playing every game now. I feel like if you put Akanji next to Eric Garcia or someone like that, who's not very good. No disrespect to Eric Garcia, but he's fucking useless. But Akanji, I feel he wouldn't be half the player. Him. Yeah, he needs people around him who are more secure and more reliable. It will make him more confident on the ball, knowing that he can find Stones, who's great on the ball, and Diaz, who's great on the ball, and Ake, who can play those balls around the outside. And that's the thing as well. Ake suddenly now turned into like a left wing back. He's getting forward a lot. It's a bit weird.
His attacking game has improved so much.
It's so weird. Because I've seen him playing for Holland as well. He's playing as like a full-on left wing back, getting in the box and stuff. So, this guy, I remember him coming as a centre back to be like fourth choice from relegated Bournemouth. We only signed him because of homegrown rules. I'm thinking, flipping heck, this guy, he's actually serious now. So fair play to the coaches.
Just on this back four, it's 4 centre backs. Would you be tempted to throw in a Kyle Walker?
It's a weird one. To be honest, I would rather have Walker and play Stones instead of Akanji.
Yeah.
I like Rico Lewis as well. I don't know what's happened to Lewis because he looked insane when he played. And he played against a lot of top teams, but it looks like Pep's just forgot about him now. I don't know why, but maybe he's got to go back to school or something. He's got his exams due. But this system's, they're playing it and it's working, so I don't really see any problem with changing it. Pep seems to think it's good. Every player fits the role very well. So
would you throw Bernardo Silva in anywhere up here?
Yeah, that's the only change I think Pep may make to that lineup. I think everyone else is pretty much a certain lock. Maybe Walker might come in, but I think Bernardo, he might play instead of Mahrez. Gundogan has to play.
Yeah,
Gundogan's so underrated. It's a joke. The guy's been relentless for us for years, and when you like sit there and actually like watch what he does in the game, I know he doesn't get these goals and assists, but
I mean he does get a lot of goals.
Yeah, but it's not like De Bruyne, is it? He's getting assists. No. Yeah, I'm just. It's almost like he's very similar to David Silva the way where he doesn't lose the ball and he keeps hold of it. And he's very good at getting the ball and giving it out to the wingers in good positions. He makes the right pass. The role he plays is very good. He's solid defensively as well. So I think if Bernardo is going to play, it'll be instead of Mahrez to gain more control. So you have that extra midfielder. But I don't know who will play there. I think he'll probably go Bernardo because he loves his midfielders, doesn't he, the Baldy? But we'll see.
Are you starting Haaland against Southampton, by the way?
I mean, if he's fit, yeah, sure.
Pep said he came out and said he's ready. So I
mean, if he's ready, he's ready. Although what I'd say is, if it's like we don't know if he's fully fit yet, I think I'd play him and then probably take him off early.
Yeah, I'd give him an hour or so.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to play him if he's fit. So I might as well play him. With Foden out injured as well, I was looking at our potential bench. I don't think Bayern's bench is as strong as people say it is, but I also think our bench is even worse now without Foden, especially going forward.
Our squad gets overrated a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But when I made my team, I put Bernardo instead of Mahrez. I was looking at the bench, and it's like Mahrez, Alvarez, and Phillips are like the only midfielders and attackers. You got like that Perone guy. He's obviously not going to play, is he? And Palmer's. I don't know why Palmer's still in the squad. He's barely played either. He's another one who needs to be back in school. But with Palmer, he's not really featured. I think I've never really been that keen on him. You look at Foden when he was 17, he looked like he belonged in the team, whereas Palmer at like 19, 20, still looks like he's not good enough yet. So I'd say give him a
Yeah.
loan. I don't see the point in having him in the squad because I know Pep likes to have the youngsters in the squad so they can learn off the players, but he's not playing. You might as well just loan him out. It's not like with Foden where he was getting 5 minutes here and there. But yeah.
One guy that may feel harsh to be out of the team, Julian Alvarez. I know you rate him very highly.
He's fucking mint.
I don't know.
The thing is, you can't drop Haaland.
No.
If a guy's scoring every game, you simply can't drop them. But if you did start Alvarez, like against Southampton, and Alvarez scored twice, and then he played him against Bayern, I wouldn't. Listen, I think Haaland should start. But if they started Alvarez, I wouldn't be complaining because he's done his part. They've both done their part, and you could make a case of both of them starting. It's like, when you see in the UFC, there's two guys who you're like, he deserves a title shot, he deserves it. It's kind of like, and then one will get it because I don't know, they're more famous, whatever. It's like that. But I feel like you can make a case for either of them being the starter, but I'd go for Haaland just because the goals he scored this season. When you score that many goals, it's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? If it was just one good month, like you see Mikel Antonio last year, had a month where he scored like 12 goals or some shit. It's like then you can say it's a coincidence. But with Haaland, he's been doing it for this. He's doing it at Dortmund as well. I know we're not going to touch on them before I get angry. But Haaland's getting his goals, so yeah, I'd go for Haaland.
If it's to go all wrong for us, where do you think, or how do you think that happens?
Who do you think I'm going to say?
This guy right here, Ederson.
Yeah. No, I think as City fans, we all know that he has got a donkey moment in him. We saw it against Leipzig. I don't know if he gets bored and wants to be involved or something, but there's just something about him where he hasn't made an error for a while. I give him that. But it just feels like we'll just never trust him because we just know he's capable of it. Yeah. Whereas with Laporte, we mentioned this in the other recording, but Laporte, I'm going to keep going on about that. But Laporte, he had that one terrible game against Spurs and he got branded as this big game pot. Oh, he can't turn up when it matters. I called him some mean words in the other video. But people were harping on about how he's this terrible big game player of one game. When the reality is he's usually quite reliable. He just had that one bad game. Ederson's had quite a few bad games, especially in the Champions League. I feel like the problem with him is when we're playing Bournemouth and he doesn't have to face any shots, he can do his little passes all day long. He doesn't have to make any saves. He's brilliant. But as soon as we play a top team who give us shots to deal with, he isn't that good of a shot stopper. And we can dress it up and say, we don't concede goals. But the reality is he's not a good shot stopper. We all know it. He's not terrible. He's not League One standard, like some say. But he's not a world-class goalkeeper.
I'm pretty sure he concedes like half the goals that are on target. I've seen a stat.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's the thing. When you look at Neuer in his prime, he wasn't conceding goals like that. He was making the saves as well as doing all these little passes. You look at Maignan, he's at Milan, the French one. He can do both. So the problem is other than Maignan, who there's no guarantee we get him, there's not really any goalkeepers who are good enough on the ball and also better shot stopping to replace him. So they're never going to replace him because unless someone comes along who's as good on the ball and better at shot stopping, they won't replace him, will they?
No, I don't think so.
And for the league, he's perfect because, the league, most of your games, other than a handful, you're not facing that many shots on target, are you? Because most of your games is just about beating shit teams consistently. Whereas in the Champions League, you got to beat the big teams and you go through every elimination. There's an Ederson error in every elimination. I'm not even taking a piss, other than Monaco because he wasn't there. The Liverpool error, Spurs was at 4 of them. Chelsea in the final, he got ran over. Leon, he chucked it in his own net. And the other goal, he was standing on the edge of the boxes. It's honestly embarrassing, but
watching Courtois in the final last year.
Honestly, it's painful because you look at that and thinking if Ederson was there, they'd have conceded 4, and Liverpool weren't even that good. That's the thing. Liverpool were pretty bad. Real Madrid were decent; they weren't amazing, but Liverpool were bad, and they would have scored a handful against us because our defense. I remember the end of last season when it looked like we were going to play them in the final. I was thinking, shit, this could go bad because we had so many injuries and. I was thinking I was going to get bullied for a very long time by my Liverpool mates. But, luckily it kind of worked out in our favour, I guess. Not really, because we didn't win it, but they didn't win it. So.
It was the next best thing, really.
Yeah, we won the league anyway.
Madrid winning it is no one ever. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as English teams.
It's like when you sim a season on career mode, it's just like that, and you just skip to the next season. Madrid win it. It's the same with Bayern as well. I feel those clubs. They're just so big. And then you compare it to us, it's a bit,
Finally, your for the first leg, your score prediction.
My score. I don't like doing score predictions because they
well,
go out
give
the
it.
window so quickly. But what I'll say is, whenever I go to games, De Bruyne has scored when I've been there. So De Bruyne will probably score. I think Haaland will probably score. So that's already 2 goals we've got.
Yeah.
So that's a good start. I think Bayern. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I'm gonna say. I think like 2-1 or 3-1. I think we'll win, but it'll be a tough game.
I think
But I
I
think
said
we'll
the
win.
same.
We'll look the better team. I don't know about the score. I don't like doing score predictions because like goals are. Yeah, I mean, with score predictions, I always feel like goals are just so like volatile, aren't they? They could come at any moment and just against a run of play. But I think if I'm to predict how the game's going to go, I think we'll be the better team and we'll win. But it'll be one of those games where it's like, okay, well, Bayern is still in it. They showed that their moments in the games they're just as good as us, and it'll be one of those where it's still 50-50 going in the second leg. What?
They pose a threat at all times.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even if they're not in possession or whatnot.
I don't think they're as good as some people claim they are. I don't think they're this like unbeatable robot machine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Summer, who we get in the summer? There's 2 things I want to address. First one, summer.
Summer, I could summer. Who do I want? Who do I want?
Who do I want? Who do we think we get?
I'm gonna go. We'll end up getting Bellingham. I think we'll get like not the winger we want, maybe like a Gnonto from Leeds or something like that. Yeah. I think we'll get maybe an Alex McAllister or maybe a James Maddison as well. And then if Laporte goes, we'll get someone to replace him.
Yeah, I think I'm similar with you. I think he'll be a winger. I hope it's Matoma, but I don't know. And I feel like it could be a right wing because I feel like Grealish is nailed on as a left wing. Foden's like half and half. Mahrez is nailed on as a right wing. And it feels like out of Grealish and Mahrez is more likely to go, isn't he? So I feel like we're more likely to get a right wing. And at the same time, Foden could play right wing. We could get a left wing. So I don't know. But I think we'll get a winger. I don't know which one. Midfield, Bellingham, I don't know if we're getting him yet. I'm not that keen on him, but
Same,
I'd take him. I think it's just because he's young. Everyone thinks he's a superstar, but I don't think he's that good. But I would take him. I'd be lying if I said I don't want him. Mainly to wind up Liverpool fans. But I think I could see us getting one of him or McAllister. I think McAllister's a bit more likely because I feel like he just wants to move to a big club and we're the right club. I think we'll hold on to Phillips. I don't think we'll change the DMs. I think defensively, Laporte will probably go. And if we are to sign someone, I think he'll be a left back, not a centre back.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd like? I'd like Kovacic from Chelsea.
Oh, 100%. I've been banging on about him for ages. We saw him play Bellingham as well in the Champions League, and he absolutely dominated him. So if you're talking about who's better out of those two, we saw who's better. So, yeah, I've been one of Kovacic's fans for a while. I think I put him in my top 5 Premier League current players. So, yeah, as I said, I think I rate Kovacic very highly. But the second thing I want to talk to you about, this Saturday, my boy Alex Pereira for Izzy.
Yes.
Very quickly, before my phone dies, I'm on 2%. Predictions for the main card.
I want Alex to win. I want Gilbert to win. I want Kevin.
Not who you want to win. Who do you think will win?
I think Alex might do it. Gilbert will do it. I'm not sure about Kevin Holland Panzanibio. I think that's tricky, to be fair. I think Roja will win too. Who else?
Yanez and Fon. I'll do my predictions very quick as well. I think Alex knocks him out. I think Burns wins easily. I think Yanez beats Fon. Holland will win. And Rosas will win. So, yeah, that's my predictions. I'm hoping Alex chins him. But I think that's 50-50. The other ones are fairly straightforward.
He's just an elite trial, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him. I think as well, he'll go up to light heavyweight and fight. I don't know how that'll go. I think he'll fight Jamal Hill. But you know what would be even funnier? Is if he goes up to light heavyweight and gets absolutely smoked and like retires. Just like his whole career was just about beating Izzy and he's shit against everyone else.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on the channel, Luke. First guest on this channel. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you agreed or disagreed with anything said in this little chat between me and Luke. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new, and I shall see you next time. Peace.